Hey, what's up, everybody? Andy Stickle here. I want to show you about a website that I think is really cool and is really helpful for online marketing. It's a website called Copyscape, and basically what it does is it checks your website and it scans the internet for plagiarism. Now, this could be people that copied your work, or it could be if your internet marketing company copied somebody else's website, or if you're like a client that we have who used to have FindLaw. They basically would take the same website content and use it across all of their FindLaw websites. Well, not all the FindLaw websites, but we would find FindLaw content on the 6, 7, 8 of the same websites. So if you're a personal injury attorney in Chicago, your content would also be on a FindLaw website of a personal injury lawyer you're in Chicago, they would be in Milwaukee and Los Angeles and San Diego and all these different places. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we check for plagiarized content, and I want to show you just some examples of where it occurs. So basically, we use this website called Copyscape. Copyscape is really cheap. It's like 5 cents. You have to buy credits, and I believe it's 5 cents per search. Let's see. You have to. So I've been searching all day, and I had like $51 earlier, and I'm down to like $49. So a lot goes a long way. So what you need to do is you need to go to Copyscape. You log in. I think there's also a free version where you can just search. So if your website is, I don't know, whatever your website is, yourwebsite.com, and I believe the free search will pull up content here and pull up copies. But I recommend you spend $5. Actually, I believe the minimum purchase is $10 on PayPal. Yeah, it's $10. I use Copyscape all the time. It's very helpful. So we use the premium search. Now, I know that this website has a lot of duplicate content because this is a website that remember I was telling you about one of our clients where they had FindLaw, and I believe we actually got, I don't remember what happened, but they took the results of our test back to, or the results of our study back to FindLaw, and I know that a lot of things happened. I believe they were refunded money, possibly, and all kinds of different things. But Dixon and Pope PA, these guys are in Kansas City. They were one of the websites that we found that our client had a lot of duplicate content that was on their website. And when I ran Dixon and Pope's website through Copyscape, I found that there's a lot of other websites that have content that matches there. So I want to show you what that looks like. So the way that you do this, let's go back to Copyscape. Now, if you're going to run a batch search, what's cool about this is you just enter your website URL and it will populate everything. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Premium, then you're going to go to Batch Search. Now, let's say I'm going to go and search this. What I do is I come over here and I click View Change URLs. Actually, hang on a second. Let's hit Done. Batch Search. No, I'm going to go to Premium Search. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done this. So you're going to go Premium Search. Then down here, you're going to click Batch Search. I knew it said Batch Search somewhere. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to click Add URLs. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to go like this, and you're going to see this box right here. Keep this checked. It says, also add pages on my site linked from this page. Now, basically what this is going to do is every page, the Copyscape is going to go and look at every link on this page, and it's going to find all the other pages on your website. So all you do is you have to hit Add, and then you hit Done. So now it's going to say your batch contains 41 URLs, or however many URLs are on there. You can view all the URLs if you want. So if you can see, these are all the Dixon and Pope URLs that it found. So then you hit Done, and then you hit Start the batch. And once it's finished, you end up with a report that looks very similar to this. Now, what we're looking at here is this is every URL on the website, and matches right here is how many matches on the internet were found of content on this URL. So you can see green is better, it's got 0, and then the more matches that are found, or I think it's the higher word count percentage that's found, the darker red it gets. So like this one right here, the privacy policy's got 92 92 here. And actually, if you look down here, you can see 8 matches were found on KansasCyclist.com. 8 matches were found on FindLaw.com. 7 were found on Florida Injury Blog, KSCourts.org. So there's lots of duplicate content. Now, the reason that duplicate content is a problem, you don't necessarily get penalized from duplicate content. Well, maybe you do. So there's an algorithm that Google uses that's called the Panda algorithm. And the Panda algorithm is basically examining the overall quality of your website and the content and the quality of the content of your website. So if you have pages that have a lot of duplicate content, that could definitely hurt your Panda score. And the problem with the Panda score is that it's part of the live Google algorithm. So it is part of your rankings. So you could definitely have some issues there. Now, you won't necessarily get a penalty, so to speak, for duplicate content, but the problem is that Google doesn't necessarily want to show 2 of the same pieces of content. So if, for example, if your personal injury page, okay, so let's say this one, so slip and fall, this is their slip and fall premises liability page. If I click on that, the same content is found on it's found on this URL, dixonpope.com/practice area/personal injury/slip and fall premises liability. Some of that same content is found on davidamall-esq.com, and then tedlyon.com, and helmslaw.com, and libbylaw.com. So what'll happen is Google will not necessarily show all of these. So you'll end up having penalties where it's not necessarily a penalty, but you won't get as much visibility because Google thinks there's other pages out there that have this exact same content. Why would we show the exact same content multiple times? So it's definitely an issue. It's definitely a problem. So if we take a look at this, we're just going to look at davidamallesquire.com. And what's nice about Copyscape is, so you can see right here, the page below has 262 words matching 33% of the page is highlighted below. So everything that's highlighted here appears on both this page, dixonpope.com, and then also davidamallesquire.com as well. So if you do found page, so right now we're showing found page. If you do, let's see, source page. Now you can see this. So just look at the first sentence here. Property owners have a duty to properly manage, supervise, and operate their property to minimize unnecessary risk of harm to others. Now let's go back to the found page. Property owners have a duty to properly manage, supervise, operate their property. It's the exact same thing. This is a problem, and I've seen this with FindLaw websites over and over and over again. Now, this does not happen to be a FindLaw website, and this does not happen to be a FindLaw website, but I believe that this used to be a FindLaw website because the bottom here looks like FindLaw. I think this used to be a FindLaw website, but I would be willing to bet that we start looking at these other websites that are in here, that many of them, so let's see, we'll look at Ted Lyon, we'll look at Helms Law, we'll look at Libby Law. Kansas City Cyclist is actually another Pope website for some reason. And these are all websites that have the exact same content on it. Look, this is the same thing. And again, this feels like a FindLaw site. This is Ted Lyon. Thomson Reuters, right there. That's FindLaw. Thomson Reuters, right there. FindLaw, once again. See, now as you get further down the list, there's less and less plagiarized content. But that's the thing, is that it can be copywriters that are working for the same company that are just basically recycling content. It can be people that just copy your website. It can be bots that are scraping your website. There's a lot of different things that there's a lot of different ways that this can happen. So, I just want to make people aware of this, and especially if you have a FindLaw website. Now, keep in mind, this is just my alarm's going off. This is just what page was that? The premises liability page. So like let's look at another one here. What was another one that had a lot of? Go back here. Let's see. Accidents, 24 matches. Okay, let's look at this one. This one has 16 matches right here. No fault automobile insurance benefits. Now this is copied from FindLaw, Newland Law, KansasSHL.org. Here, let's close all these to the right. And let's see what a few of these are just for fun. Alright, so there's 42 words, 4% of the page. Sometimes you'll get statutes that match. Yeah, so this is probably a statute that's the same. See, that one's not working. Yeah, so I'm not terribly concerned about like small things. And every once in a while you'll get like things like that where it says like days after the an owner of a motor vehicle. That's not that big of a deal. I mean, there's going to be phrases that appear on the owner of a motor vehicle. I'm not worried about that. But when you have large pieces of content that are just this is just the when you've got large pieces of content that are just blatantly the same. Let me see if we can find another practice area page. So here's the home page, and you can see a lot of this stuff. Let's see, Helms Law for their home page. 71 words matching 70% of the time. I mean, like, this is stuff that, like, this is the opening paragraph. They obviously copied something in here, you know. Let's see, what is this one? 37 words, 4% of the page. It's just stuff like this where if you can avoid this at all costs, that's going to be your best bet. So hopefully this has shed some light on some things for you. Let's see what the wrongful death page has. This will be the last one that I look at. But hopefully this shed some light on this for you. Take a look at Copyscape. Run your page through Copyscape, and let me know if you find any duplicate content.